Hey guys, welcome to my channel, The Blonde Filipina. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make pork adobo. Now this adobo is really special. It's a treat to our family. 10 years ago, I met a cute Filipino boy and got married and entered his sweet Filipino family. And his mother-in-law is the best cook. And she made the choice to teach me all of her great recipes. So today I want to teach you how to cook her special pork adobo. Okay, this is the list of ingredients that you're gonna need. You need some spare ribs. If you want, you can also do chicken legs, but my family prefers the pork. And then we have Silver Swan soy sauce. I've heard this is the best brand, as well as Datu Puti. These are very specific brand names that I've been taught to use every time. We have some Mamacita barbecue marinade, brown sugar. You can use just one or the other, but I like to do both. We have some crushed red pepper, a red bell pepper, a big yellow onion. You can use 2 smaller onions if you prefer. Garlic, freshly chopped garlic is better, but this is what we have, and so this is what I'm going to use. We have bay leaves, 2 potatoes, and 1 lemon. This is also her secret weapon, so if you have a fresh lemon, please use it. I have a family of 6, and this makes more than enough for us. Okay, so to get started, we're actually going to take the pork and cook it in the marinade. And then we're gonna add the chopped vegetables at the very end, so I don't even chop it until later. But with this meat, the marinade makes all the difference, so let me teach you the recipe. I like to put the meat down with the bone on bottom, so that way the meat becomes like a fall off the bone consistency. Try not to have them overlapping too much. It's okay if you do. The marinade is not gonna cover the meat fully. You don't need it to, because you can just turn it over halfway through. Please note, I haven't even turned on the stove yet at all. Okay, first I'm gonna do equal parts soy sauce to vinegar. Sometimes I think it tastes a little salty, so I like to do a little bit less than 1 cup of soy sauce. And what's great about this is after the meat is done cooking, you can then taste the sauce and adjust it at the end. But this is just the beginning to get that nice taste that we're hoping for. And then I add 1 cup of water. It's okay if it's not covering the meat fully, like I said before. Okay, I like to add a little bit of crushed red pepper to mine. Just sprinkle it on there. Maybe ends up being 1/4 teaspoon. Throw in a bay leaf or 2. I'm gonna throw in 2 because that's a tiny one. We love garlic in my house. If you're doing a clove, I would say maybe like a clove or 2. But because we love it, I'm actually doing 2 big spoonfuls. Okay, do about 1/4 cup of brown sugar. Time for the secret ingredient. You get your lemon that you've washed, and you use lemon rind. I love this. It creates a little bit of a citrusy taste at the end that I think really rounds out the flavor so well. Okay, that's pretty good. Sprinkle it all over, get it all in there. And then I even go a little bit further and I cut the lemon in half and I squeeze half of it out. You're gonna put it on high. Once it starts bubbling, you're gonna turn it down to a simmer and put a lid over it. Now cooking it long and slow makes the meat so tender. Put the lid on and let it cook for just 2 hours. Just set it and forget it. Okay, now that it started boiling, I'm just gonna put the lid over it. I'm gonna turn it down to a 4, which is medium low, so that way it comes to just a simmer, and you want it to simmer for a few hours. I like to put the lid on because if too much heat escapes, then it really boils down the liquid, and I like to keep the liquid at the end to put over the rice. And so I like to keep the lid on and just wait and let your house fill up with the delicious smell of adobo. Okay, we're about halfway done. So I'm gonna open it up and I'm gonna flip it over. Make sure you open up away from yourself so you don't get the steam in your face. All right, you can already tell it's getting so tender. So we're just gonna flip this over. Now, one thing I like about Filipino cooking is everyone does it kind of differently. When you ask for directions on a recipe, my mother-in-law would just say, you know, until it smells right or until it looks right. And when I was first starting out, I thought, what's it supposed to smell like and taste like and look like? But after you try it, you work around what your family likes. Once again, I like to make extra sauce because we love pouring sauce over the rice. A year after my husband and I were married, we had the opportunity to go to the Philippines. Now, he was born in the Philippines and he immigrated when he was 5. But after we got married, he really wanted me to experience it. He told me that keeping the culture alive was super important to him. And when I went to the Philippines, I could totally see why he said that. The people are so nice. The food is amazing. It's rich in culture. We both decided we wanted our kids to have that culture. And so we have 4 kids now, all under the age of 8. And we teach them to always mano their lolo and lola. We teach them certain Filipino words. I'm definitely still learning Tagalog, but I tried to incorporate it. I like learning how to make Filipino foods so that way it can bring the culture back to them. I feel like a lot of the culture is just coming together for family time, for eating and cooking together. That's a big part of it. So we love making adobo together. We love eating it together and keeping that culture alive. I hope it's something they can pass on to their kids too. Okay, now that we flip this over, I'm just gonna let it simmer for just another hour. If you don't have the time, 30 to 40 minutes is the required time. But if you really want that fall off the bone, super, super tender, because we do have a bone in here, then it's best, I've found, to do it for about 2 hours if possible. Now, usually, stereotypical adobo, you use the pork belly. I found that I really like this pork spare ribs a lot better because there's less fat, and it's a dish that I love to make a lot with my family. So just to keep it on the healthier side, we like to keep that bone in. We like to give the flavor that the bone and the bone marrow can excrete while it's cooking, and it's healthier and more flavorful. So this is just the way that my family likes to do it and the way that I was taught by my mother-in-law. But if you prefer using the stereotypical pork belly, feel free, go right ahead. That also tastes really good. Okay, it's been 2 hours. Let's check it out. Oh yeah, see how that liquid has cooked down so much? This is gonna be so good. Okay, now one thing that my mother-in-law does that is not necessary at all, this could be the finished product. This is great. Let me just show you this right here. Look how it's just coming apart. You could just see just how it falls off the bone. It's just so juicy. So that could be the finished end result. But my mother-in-law really loves to add some veggies, and I'm all about health, so I totally agree. She adds potatoes, onions, and bell peppers. So that's what we're gonna do right now. Let's cut it up and get it ready. I'm now gonna saute it with a little bit of mamacita sauce, and this is gonna caramelize it. It's gonna give it a little slight sweet taste. Okay, now that the pan has been heated, you can tell because I put a little piece and it sizzled like that. We're just gonna add meat. Oh yeah, that sounds so good. Crisp it up just a little bit. Now you add the mamacita sauce. You're gonna do just a spoonful. Just gonna pour it around. It's gonna sizzle, crackle. That's what you want it to do. And then you flip it over. Oh yeah, see that? That's what you want. I'll pour a little bit more mamacita on the other side. This is a fast process. You're not going to keep it on this heat for long. And this is on medium heat. Rub it around that sauce. Okay. I'm going to take it off. See this? You want this. This is good. This is the best tasting stuff. Make sure that you keep some of this stuff for when we saute the veggies. I'm going to put in a little bit more oil and do the second round. Okay, so this next part is I'm going to put all the onions in, and I want this caramelization here. It adds flavor, it adds color to the onions. It's going to make it really good. And turn it down just a little bit to medium low. Once again, I like a lot of onion. Move that flavor around, add it to the onions. Okay, we love putting the sauce over the rice, and if you looked, our sauce cooked down a lot. So I'm gonna add some water, turn the heat back on, and just try to make a little bit more sauce. You heat it up, you taste it as you go, and then if it needs a little bit more garlic, a little bit more salt, a little bit vinegar, soy sauce, it just depends on the taste. So you want to taste a little bit of vinegar, a little bit of soy sauce, and a little bit of sweet. And if it's lacking in any one area, at this point, instead of adding more garlic, I would just add garlic powder if I wanted a little bit more garlic, or a little bit of mamacita sauce, maybe a little bit of soy sauce. It just depends on the taste. Okay, these onions are almost done. Take a look. They're getting nice and brown. So I'm going to go ahead and start adding the bell pepper. Now with the vegetables, you don't want to saute it until it's super limp. You still want just a little bit of the crunch. So this shouldn't be cooking for more than just a few minutes or so. In Filipino cooking, you just cook it until it tastes right. It's hard because when I was first married, asking for all these wonderful recipes that I wanted to incorporate, I would ask for the instructions, and my mother-in-law would say, just until it tastes right, or just until it smells right, you'll know. And I did not know. I had to watch her taste it as she was making it to see what taste she was talking about, and now I totally get it. Now, every time it is different. There isn't just a specific amount. You do kind of add a little here, take away a little bit there, and now it's something that I can cater to my own family. Like I said, we like more garlic, so I might add a little bit of garlic to the sauce. Maybe someone else won't. You just kind of taste it until you like the taste. But if you've tried authentic adobo, then try to make it similar to that taste. Now I'm going to transfer the onions over to the meat. Once again, all of this are added steps that my mother-in-law specifically likes to do. She's from Angeles, and if you don't know about Angeles, that's kind of the center for like the masters of meat in all the Philippines. So she really knows her stuff. So when she tells you her secrets, you don't question it, you just do it. And I actually love adding the vegetables. It kind of makes our adobo stand out. So if you can see it already, it's looking beautiful. If you look down at the food, all that's left is to add a little bit more oil and cook the potatoes, and we're gonna be done. This is about 1 potato here. You can do 2 potatoes. I'm only gonna do 1 today for my family. And just so you know, while I'm doing this, the rice has been cooking. So if you have not already, put on that pot of rice. Okay, so I'm gonna add just a smidge of the sauce. And because this is oil, it's gonna splatter, so be careful. So I have been practicing my adobo skills ever since I've been married, and my mother-in-law is constantly changing how she makes it. So every time I think I've got it, there's another change to add. And this last time that they came over, I was so proud of my adobo. I made it just the way my family loves it. I served it to them, and I got the big thumbs up. And nothing could have made me feel happier. Seriously. It feels good when you hear another person from the Philippines, born and raised, who has perfected their recipe for 40 years, told you that you did a good job. So I want you guys to try this. Go ahead, try it out on your family, whether you're Filipino or you just want to try Filipino food. This is a great first dish that everybody loves. It's a big staple. You can never go wrong. Here is the final dish of the adobo. What I like to do at the end is just pour a little bit of the sauce over it and then keep the extra sauce on the side for people to add extra on top of their rice. And if you come across a bay leaf, go ahead and this is the time to just throw it out. Try the recipe, you guys. I promise you're gonna love it. Seriously.